Alright, hello and welcome to another tutorial. This tutorial will be for Linux Ubuntu. I will use myself out of a host called Hetzner, so hetzner.com. And for this I'm going to use a cloud server. And if you haven't created an account, you can go ahead and do that. Alright, so this host is pretty cheap, as you can see here. I'm going to host a PHP server, which will be the IP hoxera.se. I haven't updated anything quite yet, so you know it will be a nice PvP server, but I still have a lot of work to do. But if you want to check it in, please go ahead and register your account at hoxera.se. It will be open day in and day out. Probably it's just going to be beta or test. You can go ahead and PvP all you want and be a completed dickhead in every single way you can. But let's skip that. Alright, so today I'm going to be using myself out of Hetzner to install OTB. So go ahead and open OTservBR and type GitHub. So here you have the OT server, which I will be using myself of. It's a 10.20 server. Might even be later now because they updated it recently. So I'm going to be using this, so you can go ahead and just clone and download it as a zip file and just leave it there. I go over to Hetzner, add a server. I'm going to be using this one because if I use this one, it's going to add money. Probably not a lot, but this will do, I think. If not, then I will just upgrade to this. So I will pick this and I will just name it for tutorial and create them by now. As you can see, it's creating. Server created a few seconds ago. You can go ahead and lock it for protection. And you can go ahead and just click this and open putty. Click in the host name. For this, I'm going to blur out if my IP pops up now. No, it doesn't. Alright, so here you can go ahead and go into your email. You can go ahead and enter, the email that you got. For me, the password is over here, so I will use root. Enter in the password by right-clicking the copied text, and boom. And then this should pop up. Alright, I can't see my IP address right now. That's good. You can go ahead and copy in the password you got by mail and then enter in a new password. For me it will be utland123. utland123. I'll just remove this for a moment because I don't want my IP address, so you know how to blur it out. Okay, it doesn't show. And once you're inside, you can go ahead and type screen and enter again. And once you're here, you can go ahead and open here and go into utland.net. You can go ahead and scroll down to tutorials, basic, scroll down till you find tutorial for TFS 1.2, which I posted up here. Go ahead and scroll down till you come to this and open this and close down Utland. So here we're going to follow step 1. It's by creating a user with super privileges. We're going to skip the firewall. If you want this by an SSH connection, you can go ahead and just copy this, enable it, and then just check the status, and it should be working. We're going to check our date, if it's correct. It should be correct because it's hosted in Germany and I'm currently in Sweden, so I don't need to change. We're going to update Ubuntu. We're going to skip create swap space. We're going to skip remote desktop. go into configure a web server, and for this tutorial I will be using myself of Apache. I will go to install Apache, MySQL server, PHP MyAdmin, and we're going to encrypt the website. So let's start by adding a superuser. So copy this command in here, and you can go ahead and copy it. And the user for this time I will be using my nickname, which is Keppa. And there you can see the user is created. Now we need to create a new password for the user, and mine is going to be OTland123. OTland123. And this you can skip. And yes, the information is correct. Then you could go ahead and add super privileges to your user, and mine is Keppa. So I will do that. Now it's added, and now we can switch over to the super user. It's Keppa. And now you can see that I'm Keppa at tutorial. Tutorial is the name of the server, which you can see here, tutorial. So now we can go ahead and go down to this. As before, check the time zone. As I said, if you want to set up a firewall for SSH connection, you can do that, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to use tutorial. So we can check the time zone by typing date, and you can see here Monday, December 2nd, 13:57:44 CET 2019. It's correct, as you can see here. I'm sorry I'm using a Swedish computer, but I hope you understand what I'm saying at least. And if it's wrong for you here, if you live like far away from Germany or something, you can go ahead and click this. And from here you can type in the date again, and you can see that if it's wrong, then you can type in this command right here and search for your time zone. For example, mine is Europe/Stockholm. So then you can go ahead and type in this with the time zone here. You remove this and type in your time zone. For example, if you live in America and, you know, New York, then it will switch into this, for example. So go back. Let's go down to the 5th step, which is this. And remember, as a super user, you always need to use sudo, which is, you know, super privileges and then the command. So go ahead and type this in. As you can see, permission is, you know, denied. So go to the start. As I said, you need to use sudo and enter. And then you need to type in the sudo password for this, and for me it's OTland123. And you can see that it's starting to install. And here you can press Y, which it means yes, and it will continue to install. And then you need to reboot your system for this to take place. And 100. Then you just type in sudo reboot, and it will reboot your whole system, and this put will stop working. As you can see here, put fatal error, remote side unexpectedly close the network connection. And then you just close this down and open up a new put. Go into Hetzner or whatever you have, copy your IPv4 address. If you have a domain name, you can just type in like the domain name. For me, it's Soxera.se for my, you know, my normal server, but it's not on this one, so I just close it down, open up putty, paste in IPv4 address, open. You can see here, login as root. No, not root, I'm sorry, my bad. We're going to login as Keppa, which is the user we created, and the password is OTland123. And then you can go ahead and type in screen and press enter, and it should be like this. The reason I'm just dragging it over to my second screen is because if my IP address shows up here, I don't, want it to be shown. So we can go ahead and go into this tutorial again and go down to the next step, which is configure a web server. So here we can take installing Apache, which I'm going to use. If you want to use Nigix, you can go ahead and do that, but then you need to do it yourself. Always remember to take the sudo, install Apache, copy and paste. And the password is OTland123. And if you go to host a Linux server, I really recommend you going to your dashboard, after pressing yes of course, going into dashboard, taking a new folder, name it for example Hetzner server, and then you can just leave it wherever you want on your desktop. For me, I'm just going to leave it there, and it will pop up a new window. You can take in like hetzner.com, so you remember the domain where your server is hosted. Then you can go ahead and type like superuser, then keppa OTland123, which is my password. Then you save it and minimize it for now. Then you should see that Apache is done installing. Now we can configure the firewall by unlocking this here, copy and paste, and you should see rule updated. Then allow Apache like this, and then enable the firewall, press yes, and check the status if it's running or not. And if, as you can see here, open SSH, allow, Apache, allow, and then you can go ahead and go down to test Apache, copy paste. You can see here active running, press Q and it will quit, and then you can enter the domain name or your IPv4 address, which is the IP address. Just copy in there and you can see Apache 2 Ubuntu default page. It works. Configuration, overview, and you can see everything. So it's working. Now we can go down to this. No, we can skip this. My bad. Install MySQL server. Now it's time to install the MySQL server. So you can go ahead and paste and copy. Copy and paste. And as always, press yes. And then you can go ahead and copy this, and you can see that the MySQL server is, MySQL service is running. After the installation is done, you can go ahead and paste it in. Then you can see that it's active and running. And if you're asked to do a password and stuff, just follow the steps, and it's easy peasy. If it's asks you to create a password, and create a password. If it asks you to put in a password you created, then put in a password. For me, this enter didn't pop up, so I don't even have a password. So you can go ahead and press Q, which is quit, and you can go ahead and configure MySQL security by typing in this and paste it. Here you can see here, press enter if you don't want to set up a validate password plugin. No, I don't want that, so enter. And the new password, OTland123. OTland123. Remove anonymous users. You can go ahead and press yes. Here, normally root should only be allowed to connect from localhost. So if you want to, deny root login, you can go ahead and press yes, which I'm going to do. And here you can go ahead and remove the test database by pressing yes, and you can reload the privileged tables by pressing yes. All done. Now you can go ahead and copy paste this in here, and you can see that enter password OTland123. You can go ahead and see that everything looks like it should. So install PHP. Now it's time to install the PHP. So just copy this and paste it in. and if it says press yes and enter when prompted to install a package, so yes. Now we can go ahead and test the PHP version, and you should see something similar to this. And sorry if you hear, you know, an opening bottle right now. I'm kind of thirsty. Alright, just paste it in. And you can see that it's something similar to this. 1998 to 2018 is, you know, the copyright stuff. Now you can go ahead and paste this in here. And copy this stuff here and paste it in here. Control X, press Y, press enter, and it will, you know, take you out of there. So now you can go ahead and go into head snare, just copy the IPv4 address, or just go in here, take that /info.php, and you can see that it's working. The PHP version, and you can see every single information here. And sadly, I think my IP address is showing here, so I'll just check. And sadly, my IP address is right there, so I need to blur that out in the video. As you can see, as you can tell by my IP address, etc. showing here, everyone that have access to, you know, your server IP address can go ahead and type in info.php and see every single information on your system. And we don't want them to do that. So now when we know it's working, we can go ahead and type this one in, and it will remove the info.php file, so no one can access that dangerous information again. So if you go ahead and take your IP address and go ahead and type in info.php, php, you can see that it's not found. The requested URL was not found on this server, and this, you know, if they want to DDoS you, go ahead, you have DDoS protection. So now when that's done, you can go ahead and configure PHP optional. We're going to do this because we are hosting an OT server. So we need to change the maximum upload size, locate the PHP. If you don't know where your php.ini is, just follow this step here and it will take you to your file. But I know that mine is already, you know, right here. So I could go ahead and type this in, and you can also do that if you're using head snare and everything's working. You can go ahead and press in this right here, press Control W, and you will see a search coming up there. You can go ahead and copy this and remove the 64 megabytes and press enter. You can see that upload max file size is 2 megabytes. Change that to 64 megabytes. Don't forget to leave the M there. Post max size, you can go ahead and, you know, copy this. Control W, copy this in and remove the 64, and then it will take you to post max size 8 megabytes. You can take that to 64 megabytes. And as usual, Control X and Y and enter, and it will take you out of this little thing, and you can restart the Apache. What this is now, it allows you to, you know, post files. For example, if you use SQL, which you will be using if you're doing a server, it's usually more than 2 megabytes. So if it's more than 2 megabytes and your maximum is 2 megabytes, you can't upload the file, and it will just, you know, fail. But now we can upload any file we want. So we can go ahead and scroll down to this. What's next? Installing PHP MyAdmin for Apache on Ubuntu 18.04. Press that. And here you can go ahead and take this command. And don't forget the sudo, because you're a super user. Go ahead and press yes. Yes. And here we're going to install Apache 2. So just press space on this, and then press tab, and it will take you to OK, and press space. Then when this window pops up, you're going to press space, yes. And MySQL password, you need to create a MySQL password. For me, it's going to be OTland123. OTland123. So, you know, PHP MyAdmin info. User. And then usually, if I just need it, I can go ahead and type in the password I've chosen for, you know, PHP MyAdmin. So if it's root, it would be something like this. I think, if I'm not thinking wrong right now, and we installed PHP MyAdmin. Now we can test my PHP MyAdmin by going into the server IP address /PHP MyAdmin. And you can see that it's working, and it's not secure because you have not you don't have encryption on your website. So you can go ahead and type in root and OTland123, and you can see that access denied for root localhost. So what we will do right now is creating a MySQL user. So go ahead and type this in. Usually this one is a bit, you know, fussy for me. Enter password OTland123, which is, you know, the MySQL password. MySQL pass is this for me. And now we're going to create a user. So copy this code here and copy it in here, and then you can see that you have a password underscore here, and you can see that you have PMA user. So the user will be called Keppa for me. You can take it to your username or whatever. And you can see that you have a password underscore here. You simply just remove this and put your own password in here. But for me, I'm smart, so I'm going to use password 123 with a big P. No, I will just use a small. So password 123 will be the password. So press enter, and you can see that it's QWERTY OK. So go ahead and type in Keppa and password 123, and then we're going to add the all the privileges on this account. So go ahead and type this in, and don't forget to switch the user PMA user to Keppa, which is for me, of course. Press OK and QWERTY OK, and then you can just go ahead and press exit. Obscure PHP MyAdmin URL. What this is simply, your IP/domain name, PHP MyAdmin. You can change this out to secure your PHP MyAdmin from hackers, for example. So we will do that for this tutorial, but if you don't want to and you just keep, /PHP MyAdmin, you can, skip this part. But I'm going to do that, so go ahead and type in the command, and you can see that this pops up. What you need to change here is alias /PHP MyAdmin. Here, right here, /PHP MyAdmin, you can change to whatever you want. So, for example, as in, the tutorial on this page, you see that they have example.com/PMA hidden. So every time they enter, PHP MyAdmin, they need to type, for example, the domain name /PMA hidden, and they will come to PHP MyAdmin. And no one that types, the domain name /PHP MyAdmin will come to PHP MyAdmin. For example, if we do that now, you can see that it's working because we haven't changed the PHP MyAdmin. So for me, I'm going to just do, OTland, for example. So alias /OTland, and don't forget the space there. And then you can go ahead and press Ctrl X, Y, enter. So for me now, it's going to be my domain name /OTland. This is just my tutorial. I wouldn't be using that else. So you can go ahead and type this command in, which will reload Apache 2. And if you go ahead and just reload a page, you can see that it's not found. So if we take, our IP address /PHP MyAdmin, you can see that it's not working, not found. But if you go ahead and type in /OTland, you can see that I'm coming to PHP MyAdmin. So that's securing your whole PHP database. And what you can do is protect with 8.hht password. And what this is that it will require an application password. So it's like extra password for your, PHP MyAdmin. So every time you enter this, it will pop up a, required field. So you type in another password, for example, like 245, encrypted password or whatever, and then it will come here, and then you need to type in your username. For me it's Keppa and OTland123. So I'm really recommending you doing this if you're, high security. But I'm going to skip this right now. So let's encrypt the, let's encrypt the website. As you can see here, it's not safe. On Swedish it's inte säker, which means that the connection is not secure. So hackers can easily take credit card information, etc. from your users. And we don't want that. So let's install Let's Encrypt client, which is OTservBR. And this OTservBR is, owned by Google. So it's, you don't have to worry. So type in the first command, which you can find there. And then you go ahead and type in the second command here. Press enter. As you can see here, press enter if prompted. And then you can go ahead and type in this command here when it's done. Press in yes, Y, yes, which means yes, and then you just enter. And then you need to get an SSL, is here. So go ahead and just type in the commands in the, requested here. So go ahead and type this in here. And then here, enter an email address used for, automatic renewal of the security notices. So let's see, for me I'm going to take my email address payments.clonera@gmail.com, and here it says press yes, A, so A, and this is just, accepting the terms of service. I really recommend you reading if you're doing something, you shouldn't. Here you're going to press no, because you don't want to share, your email address with the EFF. Here you can go ahead and select, if you have a domain name here, it's really important. If you have a domain name here, for me, it's hoxera.se. But I already have this domain name connected to my, server. So if I enter hoxera.se, you can see that it pops up a server here. And as you can see here, the connection is secure. So everything is safe here. You can enter credit card information and no hacker can get it. So what you need to do is enter your domain name here. And if you don't have a domain name, you need to buy one. Or you can get a free one by entering noip.com. Go ahead and sign up and log in. Let's see if I can remember my password. Yes, I could. Okay, so from here, you can see that my IP address is showing right now. Host name, you can go ahead and type in, for example, tutorial123. This will be the domain name, and then you can see here that you need to choose one here. You have 3 domains. We can take, for example, cytes.net. So tutorial123.cytes.net. Add hostname. And from here, you can go ahead and click here. It will take you to this place here. tutorial123.cts.net, modify, and here simply take in your server domain, update hostname, and then you can see here IP/target. I will have a lot censored here because my IP address is showing like all over the place here. But as you can see here, this is, you know, antera.subto.org is pointed to my other server, and now this one is pointed to the server I'm creating right now. So if we enter tutorial123.cts.net, it should already been updated. As you can see, it's you come here. So let's go in here and take tutorial123.cts.net. And now it's generating and enabling everything. So enter here. And then you will get another choice after this, which will be if you want to allow HTTP access or just HTTPS. I'm going to take just a, here. I'm going to take the option 2, so press 2 and enter. And then everything is done. So if you enter the website again and just refresh it, you can see that this little thing here is, removed. You can see that the secure is safe. So everything pointed in this is safe. So the connection is now secured. So now we have the whole, server set up, etc. So we can go ahead and close down this and focus on this. So let's enter here and enter /otland, which is my address for PHP MyAdmin. So now we can go ahead and enter keppa password 123. And as I said, keppa password 123 is my PHP info, and it's /otland. So every time I want to enter PHP MyAdmin, it's /otland. So go ahead and press databases. Add a database, let's call it, for example, tutorial. Create. And now you can go ahead and enter your folder and just take, this out to your desktop and open it. Just drag it out to your desktop. This is the server files. You can find them by, going into GitHub right here and just clone them into a zip file. Just wait for it to finish. It's really slow for some reason. Let's go ahead and cancel it. As you can see, something did not went right there. So I'm just going to drag it out again. As you can see, it's much faster. And there we go, it should be done now. Okay, I have no clue, but my PC is really slow. Probably because I'm, creating OT and stuff. No, I can see the reason. Right here, I have an exact folder with the same name, so I will just add, another P to it or something. And as you can see here, it's the same files by dragging it out now. As you can see, that was the problem. So now we can close this down and just focus on this right here. You can just sort of rename it or something. Let's say we just name it A. And if you open it, you can see that all the server files are in here. You can see the schema.sql. You can drag it to your desktop and open the PHP MyAdmin again. And you can go ahead and go into tutorial, import. You can ignore this, you can solve it easily, but you can just ignore all the errors that comes up. It's a, common error. Go ahead and search for schema.sql open go. And this will add all the files, the server files, into your database. So now we have the database open and ready. So just drag it inside. And all these files, you can leave them from here, but this one you can go ahead and rename into config.lua. Yes, I want to change it. And now you have the config. And close it down, click it once, right click, and add to archive. Don't forget to take the zip here, not the rar for zip. Okay. And you can see that it comes into a.zip. And now you need to log in with WinSCP, which is this program. I'll leave it in the description. You can go ahead and take your address here. As I said, you can use your hostname. For example, for me it's Oxera, but for this I'm just going to use this. Root, and then OTland123. And now we're connected as root into your, desktop or something, I don't know what to call it. So from here you have the HTML, which is where you will place your website. So you can go ahead and delete index.html. And right now, if you enter your website again, you will see that it should be like this, index of, and it's like this. That means that we have no website set up. So go ahead and leave that and just drag in A in here. And you can see that a.zip has been added. Now you can go ahead and go into this folder here and type screen and press enter if that pops up. Now you can go ahead and type in sudo unzip a.zip, and now you need to type the password utland123. Sudo unzip unzip. Okay, just type unzip and type in sudo apt install unzip. And now it should be added, so now you can go ahead and type in cd/var/www, and the location is here /var/www. Go ahead and press enter, unzip, sudo, don't forget that, unzip a.zip. You can see that it's unzipping the server files into A. You can go ahead and remove the a.zip. You can go ahead and rename this into UT. And enter it, and you can see that we have the server files right here. You can go ahead and minimize it, go into the HTML, go ahead and download cnote.ac, so cnote.ac tfs 1.0 GitHub. Clone or download zip, open up, drag it to your desktop, rename it to, for example, B. Add to archive, zip, B, and it should come there. Go ahead and take it, there. Enter here, cd html, unzip, don't forget the sudo, unzip b.zip, update b. You can go ahead and remove the zip file. You can see that you have a b here. Go enter it, just drag out every single file. Go in here, remove the b, and now you have the server, the website. So if you enter tutorial123.super.net, you can see that we have this. Go ahead and copy all this, take it into your database, press tutorial SQL and copy it in there, loading, and now it's done. And now from here you need to go into the config.php notepad++. If you can't, just right click here, edit notepad++, you can add it by pressing edit with and just add notepad++. Else you can drag it out to your desktop and edit it with notepad++, remove the file here, drag it in again. So from here we're going to go down to server path, take /var/www/ut and add another, no, we don't need a slash, is that, I think. SQL user should be keppa. The password for me is password123. SQL database is tutorial. Save it, minimize, enter your website, and now you have a CNOT ready to go. It's connected to your server, so now you can go ahead and enter the server files. You can go ahead and enter here, type the forgotten server Linux GitHub, and you can go ahead and type go into compiling Ubuntu. Go ahead and take this command right here. I will leave this in the description as well. So just take that and enter here, copy it in there, enter, and press yes. And now it will install the required, compiling files we need. You can skip download the source code because we already downloaded the source code and, extracted it into the server, which these are the server files here, so you don't need to git clone it in. Once it's done, you're going to need make dir build and cd build. Go ahead and type cd/var/www/ut. Go ahead and type in sudo make dir build and cd build. Press enter. Sudo cmake dot. Now it's creating the cmake files, and then you can go ahead and sudo make, and it will pop up an error. And as you can see here in the error message, it says in file included from /var/www/ut/build. Here you can see that we have a file here, 10 fatal error, and it's trying to include this file here, spdlog/spdlog.h. It says no such file or directory. So in the file called utpch.h, we need to find that file by going into the src, press anything and press O, and then you can see that we come down to ut, this file right here. I can't even pronounce it. Just right click it and edit it with notepad++. You can go ahead and see that this file right here, spdlog/spdlog.h, you can go ahead and remove that and remove it once more, and go ahead and just remove that as well. and save it, and it's updating, and it's updated. Now we can go ahead and go into the build files again, sudo make. Maybe not delete that, just leave that in there. And then just sudo make. I had no idea that code did that, I'm sorry. So if you did that and you're so confused right now, leave end if at the bottom with a space and space right there. I don't think you need this space, but just leave that in case. Or no, you don't even need that space. Make sure to leave end if, and then you just go ahead and close this down. And now it's compiling the server files. You can go ahead and go into the config.lua, edit with Notepad++. You can see that we have the config here. We can go ahead and go down to the IP and go ahead and copy our IPv4 address and paste our IPv4 address right there. We can go ahead and scroll down the server name. This would be, we can name it as like tutorial. And every time you log in at the exe file, you can see your character name and then the server name. And it would be, for example, Keppa, Hunter Keppa, Paladin level, and then it will be a server name. And the server name right now will be tutorial. And this method would be, every time you log in with the client, a method will pop up every time you log in on a new server. So you can go ahead and change this to like watch the latest news at tutorial 123 at .cites.net. And every time, you log into they log into your server, they will see a method which says watch the latest news at tutorial123.cites.net. Go ahead and scroll down. Then you can see like the map name and the map router. You can go ahead and go down to the MySQL here, 127.0.0.1. You can go ahead and save that. MySQL user, take that as your user. For me it's Keppa. The password is password123. The database is tutorial. And at the end, press enter and add password type equals space that and take SHA-1. I think SHA-256 should work on this, but I'm going to use SHA-1. And what this is, SHA-1 is an encryption type. So every time you enter your database, it will, get create an account. You can see that the password is encrypted. And right here, it's an encrypted password. So this is SHA-1. If you have SHA-256, it will be like 256 of those in there. So it's like, more secure. And that should be it. You don't need to care about this anymore. But if you want to, use custom expirate, you can go ahead and type like experience stages. I don't even remember the code, but you type something like experience stages equals true here. Equals true. Something like this, I don't really remember. And then you have the expirate. You don't have to care about if you use experience stages. For that, you need to care about is data, XML, and stages here, stages there. And that is, the XP. For example, min level 1, max level 50, multiplier 50. I think you understand what this is. So go ahead and leave that, but I'm just going to remove that in case that's the wrong code. I'm not really sure if that's the right one. I'm kind of stupid right now. Okay, so 70% here. For example, time between X actions. I know that a lot of people will be looking at this. this is messing up, for example, potion script. So you can go ahead and type that as 1,000. So time between actions 500, time between X actions 1,000. And here you can go ahead and, you know, if I want to players to rent a house, for example, if they buy a house and need to pay rent, you know, like most of the servers like OTservBR, you can go ahead and type like weekly, monthly, and then the price per SQM, and the SQM means a tile. So for example, a tile is your character stands on a tile. And then here you have like the death lose percent, how much do they lose every time they die. That doesn't include blessings, of course. I think, you know, you can buy bless and lose less. And then you can even, you know, experience by killing players, true, and then experience player range. So this means that every player that has a level of, you know, between them as 75, so let's say a level 75 kills a level 140, they will gain level. But if a level 75 kills a level 300, he won't gain any level because it's, you know, too high. And here you can remove charges from rounds and potions and ammunition and charges from weapons. You can go ahead and, you know, daily kills to red skull, monthly kills to red skull, weekly. And then, you know, the direction and the orange skull. How long will I have an orange skull? 7 equals 7 days. So, you know, 7 days. And here you can even change a world type from PvP into like PvP, no PvP, or PvP enforced. I think you know what types that are. You know, PvP, they kill each other. No PvP, you can't PvP at all. PvP enforced, you know, gets level without attack without getting a skull. Alright, so focus on this. Linking CXX executable TFS. So this file will pop up in the build file here. So you can see that we have a TFS file there. You don't touch that until this code is done. It's usually taking a lot, you know, a while because it's a big file. The TFS file is needed. It's like the exe file. It's the server, you know, you start the server with it. And I'm not sure that this server can run a real map because I'm using 2 GB RAM. And now you can see build target TFS. And then you can go ahead and type cd/var/www/ot. You can take this file and drag it out there. So you can see that a TFS file is laying there. It's like the exe file, except that it's Linux. And now we need to change the permissions of this file. So for this you could go ahead and open Google again and type in utland permissions denied Linux. Go ahead and take this post. It's posted by me for 2 years ago. You can go ahead and go down to this and copy this. Go ahead and type in sudo, copy in that, not the HTML, yes, the www. Then take this, or yeah, you can just take that, my bad. I just did that, and the same goes with this. So go ahead and go in there, www, and as usual, don't forget the sudo. And now the files should have permission, as you can see here. The you know, permissions have been edited. So go ahead and type sudo./tfs to start the server. And I'm not sure that this server is capable of, you know, hosting a real map server. And if you get this error at loading map, that means that the map is missing. I completely forgot about that. As you can see here, you have a world.rar, but no, you know, world. So from here you can go ahead and Control-C, or it will close down automatically, I think. So go ahead and drag it out on your desktop. Remove the file, enter the file, and simply drag it in. Now you have the OTservBR.OTBM, which is the map, and now you can start the server. As you can see here, it's aborted. Go ahead and type the same command in again. And now you can see the loading map is working fine. Map size, as you can see, it's a big file. And for 2 gigabytes, I'm not sure that it's enough to run a real map server with all these systems. For a real map server, the recommended gigabyte is 8+. The minimum of a real map server is 8. And you can have, for example, 32 or whatever, but the minimum is 8 recommended. For a custom server, you can use, below 8, depending on how big the map is and how much system and how much players you have, etc., etc. And here you can see that it's killed, and that is because the gigabyte RAM ran out, so the server crashed. It doesn't have enough, RAM to continue. So let's go into Hetzner, and you can see here you have 2 gigabyte RAM. So you should be able to upgrade the server by powering off. Okay. And then it should be here, rescale, and then you can see that I'm this here right now. You can go ahead and press like 4 gigabyte RAM or 8. Let's try with 4. I'm not sure that it's working. Selected. Now we have 4 gigabyte RAM, and you can see that the power is on. So go ahead and press overview. You can see 4 gigabyte RAM, and I still have a 20 gigabyte disk because I need to have that, or else I can't downgrade the server. So go ahead and open put again and type in your domain name or something. I'm going to use tutorial123.ctes.net. Yes, and keppa otland123. Then here I'm going to cut because my IP address is showing. Go ahead and type screen, enter. Go ahead and go into cd var www sudo./tfs. And then you need to type in the password otland123. And now, meanwhile, this is loading up. Hopefully it's not crashing. Okay, it's online here. Tutorial server online. In order to log in, you will need to create an account, and you need to enter this custom client here. Go into this, the first link here, created by gzir.pl. Here you need to follow the steps in order to create your custom client. You need to download the tools master, which you can go do by entering the GitHub, OTservBR, GitHub. Enter here, go down here, and you can see that you have customized tools. Press that, clone download, and then you can see that you have the client 12 and you have the client 10 here. So you need to edit the client 10 to log in. So that's it for this tutorial. If you want me to create another tutorial for you, be sure to comment down below. And if I helped you out and you watched this far, leave a sub and comment something so I know that you watched all the video. Because it took me a while to make this video for you. So, if I helped you, you can help me by commenting and leaving a, subscribe. And don't forget to leave a like. I'm sorry for asking for so much, but sub, comment, like. That's not too much to ask for a tutorial like this, alright? So I hope I will see you in the future. and be sure to, you know, leave a comment if you have any issues with this, and I will be sure to, you know, try to help you with them. Until the next time, I will see you on another video.